When Elizabeth Warren dropped out last week, Bernie Sanders characterized this, at this point, as the race between what he called two old white guys.
I'm a young white guy now.
Rachel Maddow went up to Cambridge, did an hour interview with Elizabeth Warren. Lily Adams was on with me at that night. She's the granddaughter of Ann Richards. She worked on Kamala Harris's campaign. She said it was a gut punch to see all of the leading women candidates knocked out of this campaign. 4 United States senators, the strongest field of women candidates we've ever seen in a presidential campaign. Hillary Clinton was obviously stronger when she ran, but as a field. And do you understand what Lily Adams means by that gut punch, what that felt like to women?
Sure I do. That's why, you know, in 2018, I went on a campaign for more women than anybody else did. We elected 41 new members of the House. I went out in their districts. I went in those purple districts and I helped them win. Well, let me put it this way. They asked me to come in and they won. Not because of me, but in spite of me, maybe. But the point is that I'm not a pundit. There is, for example, I saw there was sexism in Hillary's race. And and it's real. The idea of sexism and racism still exists in the United States of America. That's why I feel so strongly about what I've pushed everything from the Violence Against Women Act to teaching my granddaughters they can do anything my grandson can do.
But is this presidential campaign a lesson to your granddaughters that they can do anything they want to do?
Well, I think so, in the sense that, look, every campaign is slightly different. I'm not a pundit, but all I know is that I feel very strongly that there exists sexism and racism still exists in this country in a big way. And as President of the United States, if I'm elected president, I'm going to do all I can to continue to root it out.
The very first presidential decision you will have to make is that decision that Barack Obama made in 2008 to choose you as vice president. That is the first test of a presidency. What does what you've seen of the women campaigning and what you have felt and what you are aware of, that gut punch felt like this week for them dropping out, how does that impact your vice presidential thinking?
Well, first of all, I think there are a number of incredibly competent women capable of being president that have run and haven't even run yet and are out there as senators and governors and the like. And so for me, I think the most important thing in choosing the vice president is whether or not the person is simpatico with me in terms of where I want to take the country. It's really important that the next president is able to do what Barack was able to do with me. Turn and hand over 10, 20% of the portfolio and say, you do it as if you're a president. Because there's so much that lands on the president's desk, he can't or she can't do it all by themselves. And so that requires, I trust all the women that are out there if they were to be my vice president. It's presumptuous of me to be talking about this. I'm not the nominee yet. But someone who is simpatico with where I want to take the country. We can disagree on tactic, but not on strategy. And so that's the first test. And there are a number of women and African Americans as well who would meet that criteria for me. But I've not focused on that at this point. But I promise you, my administration from vice president on is going to look like the country.
In your experience, and I mean your lifetime of political experience and watching this choice made, a running mate, do you think that it's important that it be someone who actually has been tested on that presidential debate stage the way I assume Barack Obama thought it was very important that his vice presidential candidate had already been tested at that level as you were standing beside him on the debate stage?
I think that's a very important factor.
Very important factor. And we're going to leave it at that today?
Yes.
Okay.
By the way, there's a number of women as well who've been tested in other ways, not on the debate stage, but in their debates in their states and being national figures. So, but yes, I think that's an important factor.